It's the 24th of August, and I'm here to show you poker players a few things at the micro limits. We're going to build a bankroll. We sat with $10 today. Happened to hit a hand a little while ago, got a full house, and knocked this gentleman out here. I got lucky, but I'm not here to show you how lucky I am. I'm here to show you how unlucky some of these other players can be and how many mistakes they can make so that you can capitalize on them. Again, when we look at a table, we look around and see who's playing and how much money they have, who's short, who's really short, and we know what kind of plays these players will make. When they protect their money and when they go all in, they make a stand. They usually have something. They don't just throw it away. This person has won quite a bit this morning. I think was up at over $40 a couple minutes ago and took a hit. So that's a person we want to double up through if we can. Again, I'm Al Spath. You can find me on YouTube, Al Spath, and on Twitch, it's Twitch GPL. I'm just going to put that in the chat screen so you have it. And you can subscribe to it. Doesn't cost you anything. And when I go live, you'll get an email saying that I'm on live. Those of you that don't have a full flush account, you can go to my page on Twitch and download it with that link that's there and use the ACR 10 code, and you get $10 in your account without even depositing. That's a good deal. That's being brought to you by heartbeatpoker.com and Ace High Radio, and they have lots of other free rolls and money added events and fun events, so you should join both at Full Flush Poker using their link. I'm not the affiliate. I'm doing it as a favor to the affiliate there. And then join over at Heartbeat Poker. They have a chat room and a forum and everything else, but they run special events that only their players can see in the poker room at Full Flush Poker. All right, that's my ads for today. Other than the fact that I'm available to answer questions, you can email me at alspath@alspath.com. If you haven't found somebody that you really trust or you haven't hired a coach, at one stage in your progression, you're going to have to get somebody to give you some feedback, give you some validation that what you're doing is a correct thing. Here I'm in the small blind. A lot of people will play two suited cards. I do not do that. If this was 5-6 suited, I might. Of course, if it was an ace something suited and I had the nut draw, I might. Now I would have hit two pair here, but that's being results oriented. We're not doing that. You know, what if, what if, what if? You can't count on a king 5 to flop or 2 5s to flop or anything like that. Of course, the RNG is going to make me look like a fool here, right? And probably put the fourth 5 out there or another king. But that's okay. It's not a hand for 40 cents. Now, if those two would have limped in, I would have paid the nickel to see the flop. Absolutely. And then on the flop, if you're thinking, what would I have done with the two pair? Since the board wasn't wet, and there wasn't a lot of draws, there wasn't a lot of connected cards, I would have probably check raised somebody. Because if I would have bet, maybe everybody goes away and I wouldn't get any money. But if I check raise, then I might be able to let them put the money in first, and then I get their money. So now we're down to seven-handed. We got one out, sitting out, sitting out. So you always have to be aware of how many people are playing. So what does it mean when you're playing seven-handed versus 10-handed? You're playing a wider range of hands. You're being even more aggressive. And hands like ace-10 become ace-jack. Hands like pocket nines become pocket jacks. Hands like, queen-king become a much better hand, especially if it's suited. We want to play suited cards when we can. We want to play connected or gapped cards. I don't really like two gapped hands very much. Try to stick to one gap for now, especially when you're trying to build a bankroll. It's a little bit more difficult to play the double and triple gapped hands. Wait till you have some expertise and you've seen more flops and seen post-flop play. So that's a nice raise by Mimi. She's learning how to play here. If you were here with me, one of the other videos, you know we capitalized on Mimi quite a bit. She wasn't as aggressive, and she got her ass whooped, I guess you'd say. So here, remember I told you before the 5-6 suited. Now I like this hand. I'm going to pot bet it. They're going to put me on high cards or a decent pair. My hopes is that these two would have gotten out so that I could get the button. I still got to worry about this guy pushing in because that's all he does is sit and wait so he can push all his money in the pot. He very rarely calls a raise of this size or a little bit bigger without pushing in. He always sits with like $5 at this table, or at the next highest table he might sit with $5 or $10. So I got two tens, I got a four flush, a little bit of a straight draw, but I'm definitely going to put money into this pot. If they go away, that's fine. If they stay, I got to redraw for a heart. And I'm going to bet the 75 cents here, just under the pot. It'll tell me exactly where I'm at. Now he called. So if he called, I would have to think that he's got something like a king 10 or an ace 10 or a 10-9 in this situation. I'm going to check here. I think he's going to make a big bet here. If I bet and then he comes over top of me, then I have to think about calling a huge bet. I don't think I was going to get him out there. Now I have to decide, do I want to pay 110, which is 3-1 almost on my money here, to see if I can get a heart, which I'm only going to get, let's see, I've got 9 times 2, 18% of the time. So I'm not getting great odds. I'm not going to get there. And he could have a full house already. So why not just fold it right there? That card had to be a heart, or it had to be a 4 to give me a straight draw as well as a heart draw. I hope that makes sense to you. I know I have to go fast sometimes because the clock is ticking. A lot of people play ace rag. You don't see me playing ace rag too often unless I'm in late position. I'm attacking blinds. So in early position, that's going in the trash. I don't like the limp from pitch 62 on the button. It doesn't get you any information. It just kind of advertises your hand is weak. It needs a lot of help. Now, absolutely could have had some cards that connected with that board. That board's kind of wet for draws and people that like to play 6s and 7s and 8s and set mine. That would really help a lot of people. Remember, the jacks usually don't help anything here. Somebody with a jack isn't staying on that flop usually, unless they had pocket jacks. That's an easy throwaway hand. I'm going to check something over here in the chat room here. And we got a couple of people. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. I don't know if it's your first time or not, but please, if you have a question, put it in chat. There's a little bit of a delay, so understand for the minute delay, and I'll be glad to answer your questions. You can send them to me privately if you think you want to do it that way. I've put about 20 plus videos up on YouTube. If you want to say anything about them in the chat screen, you're welcome to do that, good or bad. You know, some of you might not subscribe to the way I teach poker. I've been teaching for 25 years. I was the poker dean over at Poker School Online. And I've taught privately for quite a bit. You can go online and just search coach reviews and see if my name doesn't come up. There should be something in there. But welcome. I'm glad, and I hope you tell a few other people and they come check it out as well. So ace deuce is definitely a throwaway hand. We don't want to get involved with something like this. We have to hit an ace, and then anybody else has got a better kicker than us. If we hit ace deuce, that's great. But if we hit 2, 3, 4, then we have to worry about somebody with 5, 6. Yeah, we could get a backdoor nut flush draw here with the ace of diamonds, but that's not really going to happen, is it? If you think in those lines, then you're thinking wrong, because those are long shots. We're not trying to build a bankroll on long shots. We're trying to build it on solid, fundamental, good poker. We want to put our money in good. We want to try to get people out of pots. We want to take down some free money when we can. But we don't want to do something silly like raise with something or call with something like ace deuce in early position. Now, King Queen's not a bad hand. A lot of people think King Queen, they see it after they get in a lot of crap and they say, oh man, King Queen, meat and potatoes, this is good, two painted cards. It's not that good, and it's not good when you're out of position. We're facing a raise. This guy says he's got the ace king or the ace queen or something high, and then we said Cato would go all in. I said that to you, and that's the way he plays. So I would think he's got big cards, or he's got a pair like nines. And this guy should call him only because it's $1 more, and he said he has a good hand. If he didn't have a good hand, he would fold, but I can't see him in early position raising 40 and then folding. So he does call. There's the ace king. There's pocket jacks here. And you can see, oh, he didn't need that, but he got it anyhow. You can see how king queen would have been crushed. He waits. He loaded for $2 again. He waits, and then he usually goes in. So you got, when you have a guy like that sits with a small stack or anything like that, I'll pay the nickel here. It's a nickel for 60 cents. You know, 12 to 1 on my money. Are you kidding me? I might get lucky. I could have been 2 9s there. So when you see somebody with low chip stacks, you have to think, what kind of player are they? How they play? And that's his MO. He does it all the time. So if you're going to take a race with him, you better have a good hand. Not half pot, I don't particularly care for. If this guy had the ace with the 2 spades out there, I think this bet should have been up in the 45 to 50 cent range, and he didn't do it. So we'll see right here what Boss wants to do about it. If he's got the ace, he should come out swinging. It's BYOB, bring your own bet. Don't expect your opponent to bet. Again, that's very low. He's almost betting this as he's got the flush draw, or he's got something with a 9. We won't find out, and that's the way it goes in poker. Now, pocket 2's on the button, not a great hand, but anytime you give me a pair, I'm trying to get it in the pot as long as I don't have to pay an abnormal amount of money. So what do I want to do? I want to pot bet it. I'm not limping. You might say to yourself, well, don't you want to see a flop cheaply, and because you're not going to hit your hand that many times? That's true. But I also want to reduce the number of opponents I have and have position and possibly continuation bet if I miss or win on a later streak. I was hoping to get most of these people out, and I didn't do it. Now that's a bad flop for me, because we know people play the king queen. We know they play the 10 jack. We know they play 2 suited cards. So we're in real bad shape here. So what do? This guy puts in a dime. Okay. Now I could raise the pot and see what they're going to do, and I'm going to demonstrate that for you here. I'm going to just do a pot side bet. I'm going to indicate to them I have something here. Now, if they're on a draw, they're not going to draw a 3-10. Spades might. Straights won't. Mimi's a calling station, so she's unknown. This guy only put a dime out, and I'm thinking that a dime was to test to see. So now I've got re-raised, and it's got $1.92 left. So what do? Do we fold it? Can we win anyway? They're ahead. I only can win is if I get a deuce. I got to pay $3 more to do it, and then another $1.92. So I think the best thing to do is to fold. Didn't work. Oxy Doxy's US. Okay. It was a good play. Had King Jack. Thank you. Okay. That's cool. Not 6-8. We don't like to play that. King Jack. So they had top pair and they had gut shot draw. So if I had ace king in that hand, like I should have had, I would have had top pair, top kick, no draw to speak of, backdoor draw only. Runner with the ace, but so what did he have? If I had ace king and he had king jack, he doesn't. He only has the four outs for the 10. So because he can't, or jack. See, let me just figure this out. If he has a king jack and I had ace king, he'd have the three jacks as well. So he would have 7 outs. He would have 28% chance on the after the flop. After the turn, he would have a 14% chance of winning. That's the rule of 4 and 2. To make it real easy for everybody, the rule of 4 and 2. After the flop, you take the amount of outs you have and multiply it by 4 to find out the percentage of the time that you're going to make your hand. For instance, if you have an open-end straight draw after the flop, you have 8 outs. Simple. Times 4 is 32% chance you're going to make it. Once the turn card comes, then you have to multiply it by 2. So it's still 8 outs times 2. So now it's only 16% or half as good a chance of you making the straight. The rule of 4 and 2. Let's do it again. If you got 4 flush on the flop, 2 cards in your hand are flush cards, 2 cards match on the board. So you have 4 flush cards. You have 9 cards that can make a flush. So you have 9 times 4, which is a 36% chance. That's why they say all the time you have a 1 in 3 chance. I like to raise with this little hand. They say you have a 1 in 3 chance to make your flush. After the turn, it's 2 times 9 or 18%. So it's half as good. So that's why they say when you get to the turn, if you haven't made your flush or your straight, you want to bail out unless there's extra people in the pot to give you pot odds, because the chances that you have of making the hand are much slimmer at that point. So that's the rule of 4 and 2. Jan Fisher wrote a nice article about it. If you want the details on it and everything, just give me an email, alspath@alspath.com. Now see, I got the 5. I got a redraw here. I've got the 4 spades. Yeah, well, pitch and party is, and then I take it down here. It's you have to figure it out that it is 4. You don't know if it's 4 because there could be other cards in your hand, in other people's hands, or cards that were burned if you're playing live and everything. So you've got the maximum amount of outs is that, and it does go down as you go through to the turn and what have you. It's 4. He says it's not plus times 4 unless you are all in. Teach. Well, that's not true. That's not true. And there are also things called doubts. Matthew Hilger talks about it in his books all the time. Doubts are outs that really might not be legitimate outs. They may be helpful to somebody else as well as you. So in other words, if I had the flush draw and my flush cards came, but somebody else had flush cards, it could help them as well as me. So also, I might be going for a straight and need this card, and when this card comes, it gives somebody else a better straight, or it gives somebody else a full house or something like that. But the rule of 4 and 2, Jan Fisher, I have the article. She published it in Card Player Magazine. She works for Card Player Magazine. She's a professional, her and Linda Johnson, and I have the article and I have authorization from her to send it to anybody and to share it with anybody, and you can read it for yourself. It's the rule of 4 and 2. Some people attribute it to some other players, but Jan has it published, and so I go with the person that published it, and that's Jan Fisher. But thank you, Pitch and Party. I appreciate it. Where are you from, by the way? Sounds like you know a little bit about poker, which I really like. I like people that read. If you're reading books and articles, you're making yourself a better player. For those of you that are watching or watching in the future, if you are into tournaments, then there's a couple of books that you need to buy. It's a 3-volume. I get nothing for it. I did a review on the books, but it's a 3-volume series. It's called Winning Tournaments One Hand at a Time. It's published by DIMAT, D-I-M-A-T Publications. Um, you can get it on Amazon or any of the bookstores. Volume 1, 2, and 3. The first volume takes you to the bubble. Second one takes you from the bubble to winning, and the third one talks about shorthanded play and answers all the questions you may have that weren't covered in volumes 1 and 2. So it's a really good thing. And if you buy from Amazon or any of those bookstores, always buy a used edition. It has a little crease or it has a little mark, and they can't sell it for full value. Sometimes it's 40% off, sometimes 50, sometimes 60%. So save yourself a lot of money. Oh, great, Pitch. You found it on GPL. That's great. Um, Up on YouTube, I'm telling you, it's Al Spath. Again, I'll put it here, Al Spath, and email is alspath@alspath.com. But follow me and subscribe to me up at YouTube. I got over 20 videos up there, and if you really want to know the basics, the fundamentals, and you want to get a real good base to move up in limits, we did the 5 cent, 10 cent, we've done the 10 cent, 25, we've done the 25, 50, we've done a few sit and goes, and I'm going to do a few more of those, and then we're going to go to 50 cent, $1. When we get to 51, there's a lot of money at the table, and a lot of people don't consider those microstates anymore, but I'm going to include them in the package that I'm doing just to expand the package a little bit, because I feel that if you put all the hard work in and you learn all this, there's a nice hand for Mimi. 9-10, she got lucky on the turn there with the second pair. It's always good to have a second pair. This game of no limit poker is all about big hands. It's not about one pair. It's not about having ace king and ace queen and flopping a king or a queen or an ace and how open that holds up. People play for big hands here, 2 pair and above. You got to be thinking about that all the time. 6-4, just a couple of limpers. Let's see a flop. Hopefully we get a 5-3. That's a good flop for us. We got top pair and we got a draw. Let's see. That's the one that check raised us before. So let's just do a call. See what the next card brings. Now, if she's playing the ace, I got a feeling it's the clubs. Hopefully it's not the 3. Anybody going to guess on the 3 or not? The ace kind of stymies me here. The club, more than anything, is the killer. I didn't know if you guys were going to, you don't want the board to pair it. And if I put her on the, or whatever, he or she, on the club, and the club comes off, you gotta respect the read that you had. I didn't think she had the ace. I really didn't. I think she would bet in the hand. I'm gonna say she because she's love doxies. I don't know what that means. If anybody watch now, I love this hand, but I don't like this position, and I'm facing a small raise and a call here. So I gotta feel I'm really in bad shape. If I had played this hand, I would want not that flop. I'd want 8-10 to flop. You know, of course, you'd like to flop the nuts, but if you can get two cards to help you with a straight draw, that would be fine. All right. Let's just watch other people bet and see if we can figure it out. 226. He bet half the pot. I don't think he's got a made hand yet. I think he's got more like top pair and lousy kicker, or top pair and a 9, maybe queen 9 here, and he's got a draw. But I don't think he's got a made hand at all. That's my assessment. This person here, I would say, is on the draw. Don't know if it would be the backdoor flush draw, more like the spade draw. I think if this person bets $5 here, he might get a fold from Allegheny. Unless Allegheny is exactly what I thought. And that's what you have to do. You have to do the scenario, what you think somebody has and what they would do if someone bet and things like that. That's why you're watching these videos, to get that. I don't edit my videos. You hear me. I have to come up with the answers on everything as we go along. Sometimes I'm wrong. Sometimes I'm right. But you see it. You ask the questions about putting players on hands, and I try to deliver that to you the best I can, and it's harder at nickel dime. forgive me for saying that, but it's the truth. As you go up 10 cent, 25, 25, 50, it's easier because you have less people in pots, you have more aggressiveness, and you can put players in position on certain hands. That's why if I teach you to raise some pots with 5-3 suited and not to limp with it, when you go up and you do that at the 25-50 and you hit your hand, you're gonna, even when you don't hit your hand, you're only gonna have maybe one opponent. And if an ace or a king or a queen rolls off, they're gonna check to you. You're gonna continuation bet, and you're gonna take down a lot of pots. Watch my videos, see if that's not true. I'm not saying play so loose that you have to play all these different cards. I'm just showing you how I approach it. You might want to just mix it in a little at a time and get the feel for it. So we got a suited ace, the nut draw. We'll see what somebody does in front of us. I'm in position to raise or at least make a pot bet and see what happens. I want this guy out. That's right. Now I got the position. That's the key to this hand, is I have the total position right now. Now these people are calling most of my raises, and she's doing a re-raise. I'm just gonna call here on a flat back because I don't mind the extra money in the pot since I got to draw a hand. Would I like ace deuce? Yes. Would I like an ace? Hell no. That could have been 10 deuce deuce just as easy as 10-3-3, and I'm out. Bet the whole pot, so I would think that that's an overpair to the board. Could have been a pair like nines or eights too, and figure nobody had the 10. There are some people that like this hand and would raise with this hand here. I don't particularly like that hand. If it was suited, I would definitely make a pot-sized bet. Some of you might be saying, well, why don't you just do 3 times the big blind? That's the standard raise. That's true. If you go 3 times the 10, that would be 30 cents, but this person limped. You have to offset that, and that's another dime. So that makes it 40 cents you'd have to raise. Now let's see what a pot-sized bet would be. 5 cents, 10 cents, 10 cents, 10 cents. So 35 would be the pot-sized bet. So you can use that button for just to figure it out. It gets you pretty close. You don't have to do the math. Now, if you go play a true poker, they have a 2/3, but they don't have a 3/4, and they don't have a pot-sized bet button. So each site is different. I'm not saying that True's bad or ACR is bad or wherever you play. I think PokerStars has got the best probably. I can't play there or anything, but I think PokerStars has the best software from what I've seen on other videos and different buttons they've used. Now, we don't see Cato do that too much, so I would think that Cato definitely had the jack in that situation. That's an easy fold. Anybody else that's watching this morning, if you just put your name there in the chat, sure like to see who it is and where you're from. And please tell your buddies, your girlfriends, whoever, your boyfriends, check it out. If they really want to learn, not lose a lot of money, start at the lower levels. Don't start at the penny 2 cents unless you just want to see what the software is like, because everybody's in every hand and it's chaotic. At least at the nickel dime, you get a little bit of flavor for what's going on. So that person, that's the same person that was putting the min bets in and had just the 4 there. Not too good. But she's got $18 that we can get. That's really good. Mimi has 39 that we can get. That's really good. Mimi likes that 46-cent raise. She has to type that in. The software's not doing it, so that tells us something about the fact that she's married to a certain type hand and she likes to bet a certain amount. That might be lucky numbers for her. I don't know. 46 backwards is 64. If you watch Phil Hellmuth sometimes on some of his tournaments, he picks up pocket sevens. You'll see him raise 700 or 7,000 or something. If he picks up pocket sixes, 600 or 6,000, whatever the case may be, he does that quite a bit. So we got somebody in early position raising to 46 again. That's very strange. From North Bend, not in the same city, so they're not in the same household. I understand on the site that if two people from the same household cannot sit at a cash table, so this is not a hand that I would call, even with all this money. Let's see how much money is in there. There's $1.53. It's going to cost me 36 cents. I'm going to get like almost 4.5 to 1 of my money, but I'm out of position. I got bad cards. If a king comes, I'm not in good shape. If an 8 comes, I'm not in great shape. So why would I want to get in that hand? You got to do this. Divide the table in half. Pluses, minuses, pros, cons. Whenever you pick up a hand, okay, out of position, bad cards. Negative, con, negative. It's always over here. If the negatives outweigh the positives, then don't get in the hand. So this is a okay hand, not great hand, not good hand, even out of position. And I got a nickel in the pot. So the only reason I would come in to this pot because I'm in such bad shape is if it cost me a nickel. That's the only reason I would do it, because of the pot odds. Right now it's 5 to 1 on my money. And now it's a raise. It's an easy fold. It's a raw negative. And now it's a re-raise, so that's another negative. So if somebody raises in front of you, that's a negative. That means they got a good hand. If somebody has position on you, that's a negative. If you have position on somebody, that's a positive. If you got quality cards, that's a positive. If you're the aggressor and first in the pot, that's a positive. It's really easy to do. Just simply watch the next hand I get and divide this table and put the pluses over here, and don't put the pluses over here. Put the pluses over here and the minuses over here, and just see them instantly. Whether you're not, you might play the hand. If it's even, like too good, too bad, I'll leave it up to you. You're running hot. You think something could happen? Fine. Okay. Good position. Less than good cards. Let's see if we face a raise. Facing a raise, it's an easy fold. I got good position. That's the only real plus that I had. That's not enough. The pluses have to outnumber the minuses. Does that make sense to anybody that's listening? I hope so. And those of you that listen live, please say something in chat. Those of you listen down the road when you got one of these videos, email me at alspath@alspath.com if that made it easier for you. I'm going to do an offer to one of my followers up on YouTube. I'm going to pick somebody at random that has an account, and I'm going to have them on Skype, and I'm going to shadow them for free, like I do in a real session with a real client who pays money for my services. And we're going to, with their permission, tape the session and show it on YouTube. Well, look at here. Finally got a good hand. Let's see if I don't get cracked by some aces. Now, with our stacks being so low and her limping again, we want her to pay a little bit more than she's been paying, because she's been busting our chops. Got a quick call. So you got to figure that the person that called me has a decent hand here. I'm gonna she likes to do this. She may have me beat. She may have hit a set. She may have 2 pair. But with my stack being so low, I want her to pay some money to play, and I'll get it all in. If I get beat, I get beat. Well, thank you. I don't know your first name, Pitch, but party on. So some of you might say, okay, you squandered kings. Well, based on the way they've been playing and everything, I thought maybe they would take those kings for an overbet and then would come over the top of me, figuring that they had me trapped and I was trying to steal. That's all I was trying to do. I could have got trapped there easily by Queen Jack or pocket deuces, but what are the chances? And I don't want to give anybody with Queen Jack. Let me explain that to you after I get a drink of water here. This is what you got to look for, is the texture on the flop. The texture means everything. There was 2 clubs and it was a queen jack. Those are what I call touching cards. Okay, you say to yourself, well, yeah, they're right next to each other. Yeah, but think about it. Who plays cards that surround those cards? Queen jack is on the board. What do people play? King 10, king queen, ace 10, ace king. Do they make gut shot straights? They make open-ended straights. They make 2 pair because they play queen jack. They might have something where they have a queen and a 10, and so they got top pair and a draw. So you got to be really careful. Right here's this is a good example. 9, 10. What do people play? Jack, queen. What do people play? Queen, king. What do people play? 9, 10. Some people play 7, 8. Touching cards above 8, generally the spidey senses should go up on you, and you should be aware of the straight draws. Here you got a flush draw possibility too. But think of straight draws when you don't have it. Let's say you had pocket queens here. You better be careful of the other opponents that they don't have cards that lead to a straight. So that 3 doesn't help a straight. That's more like ace 10 betting there, queen 10. Although Mimi is in a blind, he could easily have a 3. Pocket 5s. I could limp, and if I limped, somebody else could raise. I find out no information. If I raise the pot, I get more money into the pot. I'll eliminate some players. I might be able to continuation bet and win. I've identified I've got a strongier hand. This person is telling me they got a really strong hand. Now, in most cases, I should fold knowing that this person has me beat. But I'm going to try to bring in this person here because I would like to set mine and catch the 5 here. I didn't. Now, let's say this person has ace king or ace queen. Will he bet $1.10 if I bet that into him? I'm asking a question. He answered it. Okay. I'm going to fire 209 into him and see what he says. So I put him on high cards, and I took the aggressive stance. And then I finally picked up a straight draw as well. So I had 2 5s on the end and 4 cards to an inside straight. So that's 6 outs. 6 times 2. I had a 12% chance if he called me on the end. But then I have what they call fold equity. In other words, I bet, and there's a certain percentage of the time the opponent doesn't want to call because they missed or because they feel that I hit, and they fold. So that 12% goes up maybe to 40%. I increase my chances of winning, and I get the fold equity. I get equity in winning money because I get somebody else to fold. I hope that makes sense to I'm trying to do it in a way that everybody can understand. So when you have a 50% chance of winning against an opponent, but if you bet, you increase the amount or percent that you're going to win only because there are going to be sometimes your opponent will give you more credit for the hand than you actually have, and they will fold it. Again, it doesn't matter that I'm up $5.47 for the session. I'm here to teach. That's what my nickname is, teach. And if you put that in the mirror, the word teach, it spells learn. You'll see it upside down. It'll reflection. I want you to be able to not be afraid to sit at a table and see what's going on and understand what's going on and get out of ambushes and set traps and be smart. Now see, everybody limped in here. If I made this $2, I could probably take it down, but I'd be taking a chance against some of these individuals. So I'll just see a flop. Not a bad flop. Now, again, what do we want her to do? We want her to bet. We know that people play 9, 10. We know that people play hearts here. You know, the best card for me would be a jack of hearts on the next card. Two is not a good hand, but we're going to bet 3/4 of the pot. She can draw if she wants to draw. She got 1 card to come. She could have A7, absolutely. I'm betting that she doesn't. Thank you, anyhow. Jack 8 is not a good hand. That's the double gapped hand. 9-10 fits in between it. Think of it as a goalpost. You said set mine with the 5-5. Did the villain still need 15x behind you? Well, actually, what I like to do is if I'm set mining, a person, like I had a call, in that case, I put 25, he put 90, I had a call, I don't know, 65 cents. Excuse me if I get the math wrong here. I put 25, I think it's 65. And it's 10 times the amount. I have to, whatever the raise is, I have to get from the other person at least 10 times. So 10 times the 65 would be 650. He was in the $7 range, which he's down now, but it was in that range. Dave Romer, who's the guy that worked for me when I was over at Poker School Online and now still works at Poker School Online, excellent coach out of Chicago. Hitman is his name. He will tell you that he likes, when he set mines, to have 10 to 12 times the person's stack, because there are times that you might get your set and you're not going to get any action. There might be times you get your set and somebody else is going to get a full house or get a flush and beat you and things like that. So he likes to have it more. But you generally should have at least 10 times, I like to say 10 times in their stack. So if I have to call somebody 50 cents, they should have at least $5 that I can get if I hit my hand. No, you're not hogging the stream. I like the fact that you're talking and asking questions and everything. I want to make it sure that everybody has it straight. Remember that point 90, when he went to 90 cents, I had 25 in the pot first because I did a pot size bet. I was the first in the pot, so I had to call 65 cents. If I had to call 90 cents, then he had to have $90, $9 in his stack, and he didn't have that, and you're absolutely right. You know, it's not easy sometimes, broadcasting live, answering questions and playing and going over everything and not making mistakes and making sure everything's running right. And I'm certainly happy when observers like yourselves add something to the mix, or in this case to the party. Easy fold hand. I got good position, bad cards, facing a raise. So, you know, you can do your math yourself. 1 and 2 bads. I had good position, but the other 2 were bad. It makes it so easy. You just look at your cards and you say, oh, negative, negative. Forget about it. The game should be easy. The game should be fun. If you're not having fun at the game, then somebody's taught you the wrong way, or you need somebody like myself, and I'm not saying myself, you can find anybody out there, find a coach, have a session or 2 with them. Let them ask you questions. For instance, they might ask you a question, understand, what would you do with the 9-6 here? What do you think is the best play? You might say limp, and he might say, no, this is a throwaway hand. It's just because it's suited. If it was 9-7, we might be raising with it, but we're going to throw this 9-6 away. Some coaches might say, hey, if you're first in, anyhow, go ahead and raise. Not really. This person here has been limp, re-raising all the time, trying to set people up. So why would I want to get in with a 9-6? Mike Carroll says it best, and I've said it in some of my other videos. I'll say it again. Money saved is money earned. Money saved is money earned. You must save money when you play poker. The one who makes the least amount of mistakes usually wins. The ones that make the mistakes are the ones you need to capitalize on. So you have to be observant at all time. Like that red light just came on that seat there. I'm looking at that seat. I'm staring at that seat. I want to see what that person is bringing to the table. See if I have maybe a note or a message on them. It's taking too long, so they probably don't have enough to sit. That's what I'm thinking. There's a lousy ace in the big blind. When I say lousy, I'm talking about kicker. Again, here's 2 suited cards. It's very easy. They're crappy cards. I got position. I'm facing a raise. They're all negatives. Easy. I want to make the game easier for you. I want to hear from you, please. If I'm helping at all, if you like a certain video or if there's something I don't cover, let me know. My email's right there in the chat, alspath@alspath.com. I'll sure as hell include it the next time I do a video. And if you want me to say your name, I will. If not, I'll keep it quiet, but I'll ask the question. Again, I like the 2-3 here. This person only raised it to 20 cents. I think this person is ready to do something. I'm going to do one thing I never do, and that's just call. And that's because I'm playing the player. This time I'm playing the player. Now somebody here could make it like that, and then I'll be out of this hand. The only reason I'll be in this hand if I get 4 callers, because I know that my cards are live, that nobody else has these cards, and that if I hit my card, I can just bust a bunch of people. But I need 4 callers. Oh, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 4 and it's going to cost me 65 cents for 4. Are you kidding me? Every day of the week. And every day of the week, I hate that flop. Oh, man. King Jack. Oh, my goodness. This is an easy fold. Oh, well. I only wanted 4 calls, and there was 5 calls. And that was fantastic. That got the pot really up there. 10 Jack, Jack Jack, Jack Jack. See what I mean? You know, I could have hit my cards. If I hit 2 pair there, or make a low straight or something like that, I crush those guys. I just crush them. I didn't hit, so I invested a little bit of money. That's what this game's about, you know, investing and then getting back from it. Now, yes, I'm gonna raise the pot. I want to try to manage the pot here a little bit. I don't want to go crazy with it because if I get a re-raise, I don't want it to be so astronomical that I don't want to call. But it does invite more callers to come in. Of course, she'll come in. So I got top pair, but I don't have top kicker. I got to get them out. Question is, does she have ace-8 here? I am going to say not. I'm putting it all in here. She got away with it once. She didn't get away with it this time. As soon as I called, she said, I know she said, oops. Let's do it. She's probably going to go all in on tilt here. I got to watch out for that. I don't know if I want to erase her with just the ace queen. That's a good bet. And there she see, I'm looking on the board. I'm seeing what people do. I figured she was going to really make a re-raise here. And you might say to me, well, why would I call or re-raise? Because this person's got a good hand here and it's going to go over the top. So I'm going to fold and I lose a quarter. I just have ace queen. I don't have nothing else. It's not like I got 2 aces or 2 queens or something like that. No, I would have nothing. All of it's in. All of it's in. No, I don't have a phone to her. Quick call here. He's only got 274 left. So he's got the 10 or he's got a draw. He may have a pair in his hand, but I don't think so. Maybe he's thinking about it. She folds it. Doesn't have a thing. Doesn't have a thing. Ace high wins. Ace queen would have won. What an idiot Al Spath is. What an idiot the teach is. Folding his ace queen. Well, if you want to put in all that money against 3 opponents there with ace queen, go ahead. I didn't. I could have won, but I still would have had nothing. I'm out of position here. Oof, oof. That's a hurtful one right there. That's a tough one. But that's a person that I could beat right there, I'm sure. Marvin has to have 1 pair here or an overpair, or somebody might have the queen jack. Remember the touching cards theory that I told you about? That king makes a straight. Oh my goodness. Who mentioned that? There's a full house anyhow. My 9-10 would have been crushed. But oh my goodness, who said that? Yeah, Pitch asks a question. What were my thoughts on re-raising the ace queen? I was thinking about that for about a nano minute, only because I didn't know Mimi had me covered on money, and she was the first one that raised, and may have ace king or something. And I don't want to get in the pot with ace king, and I didn't know if I could get her out. I surely couldn't get the person out next to me, even though they didn't have anything. I didn't know that at the time, but in case they did, there was too many people, in my opinion, to do the re-raise with my being out of position, and I don't value ace queen. Remember, that's not a group one hand, so don't overvalue hands like that. It'll get you in trouble. In that case, look, I would have won, but you can't expect three people to go to the end and the ace queen to hold up without hitting anything. You can't be betting money like that, thinking that's the way to do it. So don't do it. And that when in doubt, don't. Doubt means don't. I wrote an article about that. I was riding to New York with my wife, and Oprah was on the radio. She was listening to it, and she was talking about her grandmother always. And I got good position, bad cards, no money in a pot, forget about it. She was saying her grandmother always say, if you have doubt, then you shouldn't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. So I wrote an article about poker, about having doubt, and don't do it. So when you have doubt, don't. It's clear. You know when you have a hand to play. You know if there's any question, don't do it. One of my clients asks me all the time, and I've said this in maybe half a dozen videos. I don't like playing ace 10, or I get beat up when I play ace jack, or this or that. And I only say, I said, I didn't hear you. Say that again. I don't like to play ace 10 because it seems to lose all the time for me. I said, just say that one more time so that you hear it. And then they get the picture. If you don't like to play it and it gets you in trouble, eliminate it. Wait till you have some better skills, more post-flop skills later on. If it's killing you this early, then get rid of it. You're going to get another hand 15, 20 seconds later. If you can't wait 15 or 20 seconds, or maybe you're multi-tabling, then something's wrong. Something's wrong. You should be able to wait and get another hand and play it. Seems like I've been on here about 40 minutes or so. I don't know how long the session has taken, but we'll stay a little bit longer. I want you guys to get your money's worth. Free money today. You're not paying for it. Oh, easy fold. Now this guy, I think, just posted and then raised. When a person posts and then it comes to and raises, they have a really good hand. Most of the time they just check because they have any two random cards. I believe I was talking my little head off here that this guy has got a big hand. So let's think he has pocket kings or ace queen or something like that here. Maybe even king queen. If he has the queen, he should not bet. Look, what are you afraid of if you have the queen here? There's no straights. There's nothing that's really going to beat you unless somebody has pocket deuces or pocket fours. If he checks, he doesn't have the queen. Anybody want to guess? Ace king, ace jack? Nothing. He's missed completely, see? Wow, I would have made it straight. See that? It was 2, 4, 5 down the run. I had ace 3. Silly me. So, Hobo Jim just got here and just raised. Let's see what he's like. Second hand. Man likes to mix it up. Let's have him mix it up with a re-raise. Mimi changed seats. Look, she wanted position on me. She was here. She changed seats for position. I'm going to continuation bet here the whole pot. He bets first, I'm out of here. I'm not going to re-raise him. I'm taking a chance he does not have a queen or doesn't have a draw here, and he goes away. He comes over the top, I go away. Simple as that. Oh, thank you, Mr. Hobo Jim. Your contribution is noted, and I will be reported on my tax return. Let me just check over here for just a second, see what we got. Oh, we got a few people in today. Hey, Tommy Gunn, I know Tommy Gunn. I know Soft Top. That's great to see him back in here. Tell some other people about these sessions. I certainly appreciate it. Covering a lot of ground this morning, so I hope I haven't lost you. And if I did, when it gets put on YouTube, and I'm going to raise with this hand here. I'm not going to limp with it. When it gets put on YouTube in about an hour or so, be sure to view it over, because you probably missed some things along the way. And if you did, I want you to get, see, Jim's in almost every pot. So I know that he'll pay more. I could make this 35. I can get 35. I can get some value out of Jim. It's not the greatest flop in the world, but I don't think either one of them have a 6 here. I'm just going to hope that they don't have a jack. Again, by raising free flop, I just won that hand. I don't have anything, but I took advantage. I made myself get positioned by knocking everybody else to the button with a raise. If I limp, I can't do that. I can't win that money. As I said, I'm going to select one of the subscribers to my YouTube channel by random. If they have a stake at one of these sites, I'm going to shadow them and videotape it if they would like to volunteer for that and answer questions. They make all the decisions. I'll give you an example of how we do it. Let's make believe this is Nigel here as teach where I am. I would say to Nigel, what do you think about this hand initially, Nigel? And he would say, I don't like it. I don't like my position. I don't like the cards, and I'm facing a raise. I'd probably pitch it. And I'd say, Nigel, why don't you teach the class? That's very good. But if he said, well, if I have to pay a nickel and there's 2 or 3 people in, I might pay the nickel. I say, okay, I can understand that. You only have to hit once in a while to get some money. Well, what are you looking to hit, Nigel? If you do get in there with the jack 3, he said, well, I don't want a jack because I have a bad kicker, so I probably want 2 3s or a jack and a 3. I don't have any draws, so I really need to hit 2 pair or better. Posted a link to your channel and got, you are permanently banned from talking in J. Carver Poker. Oh well, no more UFC news for me. Well, I appreciate you passing the word on to other people. Some people's channels, what you want to do is post a comment on somebody's YouTube that that you've listened to mine or something like that. Where the comment section. I think in Twitch they might have some rules that looks like spam or something like that. Now I don't like this hand at all. Most time I don't even like to raise, but it's too what. I'm going to call here, and that's against everything I've told you. It's everything I believe, but I'm just calling. I'm looking for Jack 10. All right, so I got King 10, and so I got a gut shot draw, but there's 2 clubs out there. So if somebody makes this 40, 50 cents, I'm out of here. I'm not going to go. It's just because I can get there and somebody can get the flush and beat me. But for 10 cents, I'm going to see if this is a jack of diamonds. I'm going to see if it's a jack of hearts, jack of spades. But I got to worry if it was. Now that shuts me down. Even though I pick up the draw for the hand. This is taboo for me. Now these guys have all bet the 10 cents. That's a silly bet. He's saying I got the flush or I got 2 pair. I don't know who Jay Carver Poker is, but I'm sure he's good. He bets $1 now into this person. So he says, I've got the real flush here. What else could he have that he's betting on? Yep, soft top's probably right. Um, I get some people that come in here that spam things and do things all the time. That's up to you guys if you want to listen to them. And they might be jokers and they might be paid people and stuff like that. But again, I got good position, bad cards, easy fold. Come on, Mimi. It's time for 46 cents. Oh, 35. She disappointed me there. It's been a nice session. It's been close to an hour. I don't know the exact time I did start. Jay Carver is a PokerStars pro. Oh, PokerStars got a lot of good pros. 11:18 is when I posted the first thing up on here, so we're really at an hour. So I'm going to take the auto post off, bring it around to the big blind. I've got 21.72 for my bankroll at a nickel dime table in an hour. If you think about hourly rate, you're not going to get that kind of hourly rate at these tables, but you can if you play smart. And there are times that I've won $60, $70 demonstrating something at the lower level. There's times I've lost $10. You're going to go up and down to give it your best. You don't put your money in bad. You put your money in good. When I say you put your money in good, you put your money in when you think you're ahead or you got the best hand. You stay away from those hands like I had with the ace queen. Why would I want to jeopardize everything I did for the hour and put that money in when I don't know if I'm going to win? I did win. I would have won, but I don't know that. So I stay away from that. So we have a limper here. I'm going to hit the pot button as soon as she checks. Oh, didn't like that at all. Didn't like that at all. I don't think that's enough to get her out. Now I'm really in bad shape. Oh, yeah. Oh, damn, I hate to get these rockets this late in the game. Tagging people, you might want to put, I'm going to make this $1 here and see who wants to come. You might want to tag people like Mimi and add them, go like this, go one, add buddy, and add her to your buddy list. And then every time you come on, you can find out where Mimi's sitting, and then you could, include her in your table game. Okay, that's a lot of dollars in here. Got a flush draw. If I get sucked out, I get sucked out, but they're going to pay the max. Let's see. Who's got the most money here? Oh, me. He's got 15-14. Let's go. 15-14. So that everybody else that comes in, they're all have to be all in. Oh, shucks. I was hoping they would think I was trying to steal that puppy. But the king killed me because they could put me on kings, the ace king, hands like that. It was too good. You might want to tag Hobo Jim too, because Hobo Jim's played some loose hands early. Let's see, I got about 2 more hands, so I'll tell you this right now. There's a 45-second minute delay on these, so when I stop talking, it'll catch up and we'll end it. But I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for sharing this wherever you share it, whether it be in a forum, on Facebook, social media, anything. Just take my link at YouTube or Twitch and share it and get some more subscribers. I love doing it. I love working with people. Contact me if I can help you in any way, or you need an article on something or a recommendation on a book or whatever it may be. alspath@alspath.com. There's a few of you that know me personally, and you know that I've been doing it for many, many years. And I get compensated for my time other ways. This is how I pay it back. Oh, He says he has an 8. What do you have? Well, you'd love to have an 8-10 in this situation. So you get the other 8 to call you. Marvin might have the flush draw. You never know. There's no way Jim's not going to bet the bet. There's the flush draw he did there, and he only had the 8. Ha ha ha. So he had an open-ended draw and a flush draw, and he just sucked it out on him. That's an easy fold. I got one more hand before I have to go. Again, anytime you can bank the $22.77 for a session, you've done very well. I consider that doing really well at 5 cents, 10 cents. You should have a spreadsheet of something. Every time you play, you should put the level, what you played at 5 cents, 10 cents, and what you started with, what you finished with, what you were plus or minus, and then a box for what you did wrong or what you did right. And then before you play the next time, take a look at it and read about what you did right and what you did wrong, and read it each and every time so it goes in your head. So you remember to do those good things and avoid those bad things. And then also include on there what time of day it was. That's really important, because if you're winning in the mornings but not winning in the evenings, you may be playing against a completely different clientele, and you need to note that, because it could be to your advantage to work the tables at a certain time, depending on your time zone and what country you're in. So that's very important to you. A full house is very possible here. Actually, if she had a full house or he had a full house, whatever, they would probably, I'm going to fold this here, they would probably show it. People, you play live, when people get a big hand, they love to show it. They love to share how good they are, how great they were, how lucky they were to get 4 5s or something like that. Anyhow, today is the 24th of August, 2015. I'm Al Spath. I've been your teacher and instructor for today. I go by the name of Teach. Look me up on YouTube. It's Teach GPL here on Twitch. Thank you very, very much.